folks. This is Bob Jakes with Yes Reports. And if you know my normal setting, it's different right now. See behind me? If I move this way, there's a building that's already ready in the fall. See that building behind me? See the building behind me? Ooh. This is the normal size building here, and this building here is ready in the fall. Now, what's the purpose for me to put this video on? What's the purpose for me to put this as my background today on my green screen? There's a purpose. Sometimes it's good to be a little different. Sometimes. If you're driving down the road and you're going through the city, now I don't have any clue where this building actually exists, but it probably does exist. If you're driving down, entering this city, and you see that building, what's going to happen? This building will get your attention. It's going to get you noticed, and it's going to keep your attention, and people are going to talk about it. After seeing this building, you don't think, if I'm on vacation and I'm going through this town and I see this building and I have my family with me in the car, you don't think we're going to spend a few minutes talking about this building or laughing about this building? Well, it served its purpose. It got our attention. So the architects behind this building and the owners of this building, they want it to get people's attention. So, when their customer says, "Where are you located?" Well, we're in that building that's falling. The building that is tipped a little bit. It seems to be falling. Oh, you're in that awesome building. Wow. It's easy to tell people directions to where you're at. And people are not going to forget it. Now, when I go home and I tell people how our vacation was or how our travels were, you don't think I'm going to mention this building? Yeah, I'm going to mention this building. So in this case, it's good to be a little different. So what are we going to talk about today? I want to talk about one thing today. I want to talk about thank you. The words thank you. And how important it is to use those words. Now we're entering the holiday season, but that doesn't make a difference. Whatever season you're in, whether it's the holiday season or you're in the middle of March or you're in the middle of June or July or August, it doesn't matter. You should be thanking your customers. You should be thanking your team. You should be thanking your bosses. You should be thanking your suppliers. You should be thanking your coworkers. You should be thanking the person serving you at the restaurant. If they're working right now under these COVID situations, because right now this is November of 2020, we're in the middle of the COVID crisis. If they're working COVID to serve us, or if the truck driver or the delivery driver or anybody who's working, the supermarket person or the nurses and the first responders, we should be thanking everybody. So, when I was young, I was a salesman. And I learned a couple of things. And I should have learned more, but typically, sometimes you don't pay attention. But there's one thing I learned is that the importance of saying thank you. Truly important. So back when I was a salesman, we had Rolodexes. The computers were just coming out, but they weren't the same they weren't personal computers. We had an actual Rolodex, and it was about maybe this big. They had different sizes. Some of them were square and some of them were round. Mine happened to be huge, a huge Rolodex, and it was round, and had little white cards that you could pull out. And on the front, you would write down the person's name, the company, the address, the phone number, the fax number. There were no email addresses back then. But on the back of the card, because it has two sides, my sales manager, he was sharp, and he taught me something. He always said, when you're talking with a customer, you have two eyes, two ears, and one mouth, and you should use it in that proportion. Pay attention, watch what's going on, listen carefully what's going on, You only have one mouth, use it in that proportion. So what the sales manager meant was listen to what the customer is saying. So we used to always pay attention if the customer said, say it was May and the customer mentioned that in July they were going to the Outer Banks. They were renting a cottage on the Outer Banks and with their family. And we used to, on the back of that Rolodex, on the back of that card, and these days it's much easier because these days you do it on a computer. So you could put it in the notes section on your contact list on a computer. But on the back of the old days, we used to put it on the back of the Rolodex, customer, Mr. Joe, whatever, on this date told me that he's going with his family to the Outer Banks. And when he mentioned his family, we used to turn around and ask a question. Well, how many kids do you have? Well, I have 3 boys and I have 2 girls. On the back of that card, we used to write down he has 2 boys and 3 girls. And if we were having a deep conversation and we got their names, we used to write that down too. So why do we write that information on the back of the Rolodex? Well, next time we talk to that customer and say August has gone by or July, whatever that date the customer mentioned that he was going on vacation, say it was a month after that, we used to say, hey, weren't you in the Outer Banks last month? How did you enjoy it? And we listen because we have 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use it in that proportion. We listen to what the customer had to say, and if he was particularly excited about something, write it on the back of the Rolodex. I went fishing with my kids, and we had a ball, and we caught fish. Hey, so what are you going to talk to them about next time? Next time you have him on their phone, you're going to talk about fishing. Have you been fishing lately? It's hard to remember all that key information. And if you have a photographic memory or a memory that was built like a still vault and you can remember all that, that's awesome. But me, I don't have that. So we used to write little notes that we felt was important to the customer. And we used to ask questions at one of our future conversations. So why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling you this for a reason. Getting back to thank yous. These days, we forget, including myself, to thank people. I should be, when I'm driving up to a drive-through on a restaurant, the first words out of my mouth should be, thank you for working during this COVID situation to serve us food. I appreciate that. Before the restaurant employee ever says anything, those are the words that should be coming out of my mouth. Thank you for serving us, or thank you for coming to work to provide us with food during this COVID situation, or whatever you're comfortable saying it. But I should be thanking them before anything happens. And my last words out of my mouth should be, thank you very much for serving me. I appreciate it. Okay? Whatever you're comfortable saying it, but be sincere. So getting back to thank yous again. We used to write thank you notes to our customer a minimum of twice a year. If the customer gave us a big order or something, we would write a specific thank you note. But around the holidays, particularly like in October, November, before Thanksgiving, or before Christmas, or before Hanukkah, or before New Year's, we used to send out thank you notes. Now, not a card, not a Christmas card, not a holiday card, an actual thank you note. A note on a piece of paper, handwritten, okay? And we used to say, in my example, Dear Joe, I hope you have a great holiday with your family, with your wife, and your 5 kids, and whatever information you know, okay? I hope you have a great holiday. Sometimes it backfires on you. You don't know if they got divorced. You don't know if somebody passed away in the family. So you got to be careful how you do it, obviously. But you do it in a way that you're not hurting the customer, that you're sincere, and that the customer will appreciate that you care enough about them that you actually listen to them. Kind of like that building behind me. You're different. You're being different. Because all the other salespeople out there, they don't care. It's a numbers game. If I make 10 calls, I'll get 2 orders. Or if I make 100 calls this week, I'll get 6 orders. Or whatever. Sometimes in life, it's better to slow it down and to care because you get much further. So getting back to the thank you card. So we took a piece of paper, not a greeting card. We wrote some personal information that we knew if we knew anything. We thanked him for his business. You know, we say if you ever need anything, give us a call. We just whenever we talked to them, we really listened to what they had to say, and we referred that back into the thank you note. And we send out at least 2 thank you notes a year. One around starting in October, and we spread them out. We would do, if we had 100 customers, we would start doing them in September. Because in December, everybody sends out Christmas cards or holiday cards or an email. These days, it's an email. But I suggest that you go back to the old-fashioned way and handwritten note, because that will make you different. Kind of like that building behind me. It will make you different. A handwritten note. And put it in an envelope. And make the envelope different, okay? My wife received this today, okay? I'm not going to show her information, but she received this today. And on the front side, there was a stamp, a real stamp, and it was handwritten. So it got my attention because most of the junk mail we have is junk mail. You know how it is. It's we don't even spend time looking at it. It's kind of like the emails this day. We get bombarded with the emails. That how many times does the email truly get our attention? Kind of like the building behind me. How many times does the junk mail truly get our attention? So this letter that my wife received today was in an envelope, handwritten, okay? It got my attention. What we used to do in the old days is we used to take a wedding invitation envelope. Not a wedding invitation, but an envelope that was the size of a wedding invitation. Because people get excited and they open envelopes that look like a wedding invitation or an invitation to a party. The bigger type of envelope. So we used to put our thank you note folded in half, so that way they opened it. They made the effort to open it. If they make the effort to open it, they might read it. Handwritten, okay, in a wedding invitation type envelope, which was handwritten. His address was handwritten as well. So, and we used to not send it from the company. We used to send it, I worked for XYZ company. It wasn't XYZ company Bob Jakes. It was Bob Jakes at the XYZ company address, but it was personalized. So that's my business tip of the day. I hope it helps you. Remember, this being different gets people's attention. And if you send out a couple of sincerely written thank you notes at least twice a year, they'll take your phone call when you call them. Be different. Be unique. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, here's my 2-second shot at advertising. Please give this video a thumbs up for our efforts. Please subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. I appreciate you. I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me today. Please share this out with your friends. If you get what I'm talking about, share this out with your friends. And if I didn't explain it right, watch this a second time. You'll catch more stuff, more useful business tips. I hope you have a super day. Stay connected with us. Stay smart. And stay tuned for some more great videos. Have a super day. Thanks for being with us. Take care. Goodbye.